this. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. Brittany Renner, friend of the channel, Brittany Renner, uh, underwent a religious conversion circa August 2024. This is when this is alleged to have taken place. Known industry slore, wrote a book about the many men that she slept with in the hip hop and professional sports industries. The name of the book is called Judge This Cover. Known for her rants, basically being an Amber Rose adjacent, trying to create a world in which being a whore is cool and fashionable. I don't think I'm saying anything that is not factual thus far.
No, I think these are all facts. So.
And just being the provocateur that she is, claimed that her body count was only 35, I think she said.
Oh, yeah.
I think she said her body count was 35. And some of them were one night stands or whatever, and so she doesn't even acknowledge some of that 35, whatever. But she underwent a religious conversion. She converted to Islam back in August of 2024, and since then she has been inviting people along her spiritual journey, getting into her celibacy and abstaining from sex and all of this other stuff, and how much she looks forward to what life has in store for her now that she's a part of this new chapter in her life. In doing so, she is now apparently linked with Kevin Gates, a known rapper who himself is Muslim. He has been for some time now. He is also legally married, I believe. Somebody fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. But, we got Kevin Gates and Brittany Renner who are together, and people are kind of taking opportunities to poke holes in this. I think all of us collectively don't really know how legitimate this is, how sincere her conversion is. We don't know how much of it is legitimate versus how much of it is a grift. She's definitely making a concerted effort to convince everyone that it is legitimate and not a grift. But yeah, she's with Kevin Gates. And if you are familiar with Kevin Gates' music, kind of flies in the face of all the stuff that she proclaimed she wanted to move away from by converting to Islam. So anyone who does not know about Kevin Gates' music, get on your Spotify and just listen to a few of his albums. I guarantee you will gain a better understanding of why I would say such a thing. But Brittany Renner's past comments are what's come to light here, in lieu of the fact that she is now with Kevin Gates. She once went on to live to talk about how she wouldn't date a Muslim man because she doesn't want to be one of several. But now she's with Kevin Gates, who is Muslim. So people are like, okay, well, which is which? So this says Brittany Renner's old comments about Muslim men come back to bite her amid Kevin Gates' relationship. Brittany Renner has typically not been a social media figure who's viewed positively, whether it be for her antics or comments online. Most have a hard time siding with her. That's the case right now, thanks to an old clip of hers that's causing her to face severe backlash. Obtained by the Shade Room, it's a video that she uploaded this February regarding her stance on why she won't date men who practice Islam. Renner converted to the Middle Eastern religion sometime in August 2024. In the clip, she tells her followers that she's been avoiding dating, especially with fellow Muslims, due to their tendency to have multiple women. However, now that the entrepreneur and model is rumored to be dating Louisiana rapper Kevin Gates, she's being labeled a hypocrite. He's been practicing Islam for several years now, with him reportedly starting to in 2016. So here is Brittany Renner talking about why she wouldn't date a Muslim. So we'll let her speak for herself.
I have not been on a date since I've been Muslim. Now, there have been plenty of married Muslim men in my DMs, and just because it's permissible does not mean I have to sign up for it. I didn't come this far to be one of several, so let's be very crystal clear on that. When you go without sex for an extended amount of time and you are honoring yourself in a way that you never have before, you really start to see where people are leaking their energy, where they lack discipline. And there's nothing more unattractive than someone who lacks discipline. I like my men disciplined and a little militant. So when you don't choose you, there could never be an us. A lot of men think I need more of something to feel more. Babe, you need to go deeper. The only thing that can quench lust is love.
What? What is that?
The only thing that can quench lust is love.
See, when you get philosophies from 304,
Please understand that. And if you have so much love to give and you ain't got no one to give it to right now, give it to yourself.
Lord have mercy.
I don't know about you, but that sounded to me like an admission of masturbation more than anything else. So a couple of people, of course, are critiquing this. She's a content creator in a role that's it. One Shade Room commenter proposes. Not a single person believed her, including Brittany Renner. Another adds, one more writes, I don't know who annoys me more, her the performative Muslim or Krishan and her performative Christianity. Of course, others were pointing to the fact that Gates is a married man and has been for at least a decade. Sure, things have not been going as swimmingly as they used to, but at the end of the day, the internet still doesn't understand Brittany Renner's logic. So Allah sent you Kevin Gates, girl. Ain't no way she's serious. Another goes. Girl, you're dating Kevin. You're not going to be the only one ever. So there you go. The speculating began with these two just about a month ago after a shocking appearance together on DDG, of all people, streamed. From there, some other instances suggesting they were an item began to surface, such as them holding hands and attending a Lakers game together amid the MC's issues with LeBron James and his wife, Savannah. So, do you think that the internet is justified in pointing out her hypocrisy, given her apparent decision to be with Kevin Gates?
Now, before the internet starts to call me a simp and a beta, I would like to tell the internet to take a pause, take a step back. And honestly, I think that she has gotten stronger in her faith. If that's how they get down over there. See, now she came in. Yeah, she came in guns blazing, still in her secular mind, just wanting one, just wanting a man to just have one woman. But the deeper that she's gotten to her faith, she realized that it actually makes sense for her to share. So I would say that she's not being a hypocrite. I think that she may have actually grown in her faith. All right, she may have actually grown in her faith here, and she's actually seen the light and realized that, hey, me carrying my feminist ways is actually going to box me out. I should actually be a little bit more open and not block off a blessing. Now, with that being said, however, okay, you're around here, and I agree with the people in the comment section. You're, of all people, you want to pick grocery eating Kevin Gates. We all know what's going on there. This guy here is an infamous grocery eater. He has all kinds of explicit lyrics, and we've seen him just carry himself on a normal basis. This guy is freaked out. So it's hard to believe that she's not around here getting clapped up by Kevin Gates, so I don't know if she's still on her celibacy train. She gave that up, who knows with that. But yeah, she does come across hypocritical when it comes to that, because she was coming off as if she was saving it for marriage and all these other things, and she's not for the streets anymore. Well, this looks streetish. This I don't think that this is going to end up in marriage, or you're going to be a part of his harem willingly. This looks like this just looks like typical Brittany Renner street behavior, but she can get away with it because it's with a Muslim freak. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Okay. Nice try, Miss Renner, but I would say that it is just typical Renner behavior. But what are your thoughts, man, on the internet calling out Brittany for going back on her word and splacking it up with Kevin Gates? What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I think if she were dating like a more private, inconspicuous, businessman who was a Muslim, might be a bit of a different reaction. But she is with Kevin Gates, someone whose sexually explicit content borders on extreme. If you listen to it, trust me. So that's the thing that kind of has people thrown off. I don't even think it's, people are calling out her apparent hypocrisy in light of those comments that she made from the clip that she played, from the clip that we played. But I really think what has people rolling their eyes is who it is she's with.
It's Kevin Gates.
It's the Kevin Gates factor. Yeah, as you said, known grocery eater, the guy who talks about smashing chicks in department fitting room stores.
Right.
Who talks about smashing chicks in the fitting room of department stores and spitting in their mouth and doing all sorts of explicit things. And this is who you choose to, as Jay-Z said on Blueprint 2, and this is with whom you all place your faith. That is what has people rolling their eyes at this. But outside of the apparent hypocrisy, look, man, and listen, this is not to downplay people who experience like an epiphany and are compelled to sort of embrace a particular faith because they feel as though that's the path that they want to take in life. Many people have done it before. Many people will do it in the future. So I don't want to minimize that. I don't want to minimize that because that is legitimate. But I also feel like within the parameters of people who do that, you still find people to whom you can look at and say, yeah, they might have made that decision, but to a certain extent, a tiger's stripes don't change. And I kind of feel like because she's with yet another rapper, a high profile industry dude, it suggests to me that despite her rhetoric, her stripes ain't changing. She's still the same old tiger. If there's anyone who understands what it means to be with a guy who she has to share with other women, it's a woman who has been with industry men. She in her previous life was a known industry slower, and she's proud about it. She was proud about it. She wrote a book about it. She jumped around from one man to the next, Colin Kaepernick, Lil Uzi Vert, and she wrote about it. So whether it's a rapper or a professional athlete, I would challenge anyone to come up with a profile of a man who's more likely to keep multiple women around than a rapper and a professional athlete. Is there any profile of a man who's more likely to keep multiple women around than that in America, in westernized society? I can't think of one. Rappers and NBA players and NFL players. If you're truly in pursuit of monogamy and commitment, going the rapper professional athlete route is not the way to obtain it. It just isn't. So if you continuously pursue that route, it tells me that though you pay lip service to that being what your ultimate goal is, you really don't care about it that much. It isn't really your main priority, because if it were, you'd realize that's not how you're going to get it and you try something different. But she lived this life out for a long time and parlayed it into being an influencer for a career, and then became an author and wrote a book about it. exposing it. So something tells me that though she talks about these things, uh, faithfulness, I don't believe personally, is very high on her priority list. And though she underwent this religious conversion on a baseline elementary level, I believe she has not exercised that out of her system. And she don't really care. She don't care. And so oddly enough, her previous life, as you put it, has somewhat best positioned her to a life like this because she's already used to it. She knows what it's like. She actually does not know what it's like to be with a guy who at least puts effort into monogamy. Because you're not getting that from rappers and you're not getting that from NFL players and NBA players. Yet those were the men whom she dated exclusively. So now that she puts on the burqa, I'm supposed to believe that she's completely reversed ship on that and done a 180. I'm not buying it. So I was actually not surprised that she's with Kevin Gates. That's pretty much on brand with her.
It's on par.
It's on brand with her.
Mhm.
And it's on brand for a lot of these chicks who holler about what they want when they really don't want it. You know, and you know, you got a lot of people out here being dishonest. And women do this thing. They play this game. And you know, at this point, I'm blue in the face with talking about this, but here we go again because this provides us with yet another case study of this stuff. And there's a lot, there are way too many females in the world who say, I want monogamy and I want commitment. I don't want a guy who's with all these other women. I want, you know, loyalty is another buzzword that gets thrown around a lot, right? They say they want all of these things, yet they cannot get out of their own way. And they continuously pursue men who, from a profile standpoint, are going to give them the exact opposite of the stuff that they claim they want. So at the end of the day, I cannot believe anything other than you don't actually want that. You just romanticize over the idea. It's nice to say, yeah, this is what I want, but in practicality, you don't really care about that. You don't. And she doesn't. So yeah, I hear the internet calling her out for hypocrisy, but I kind of feel like she's being consistent with who she is.
Exactly.
Yeah, it just so happens that converting to Islam gave her sort of a religious infrastructure to be able to kind of live in that energy somewhat guilt-free. Because now she's not really being cheated on because that's something that Muslim men do. So she can accept it now because she's in that particular ecosystem where it's just kind of the standard operating procedure. So yeah, I mean, I was never buying her to begin with, from this standpoint at least. You know, again, man, I'm not trying to minimize people who decide that they want to walk a different path and do things a different way. I don't want to minimize that. I take that seriously, and I commend people who do that. But I just don't see how you can make that decision and then turn around and start dating a sexually explicit ratchet rapper. I don't understand that. If someone can explain that to me, I'm all ears. But until someone can make sense of that, I'm not buying any of that. But I think this is on brand for her.
Yeah, man. So you know, she's doing her job as being an internet grifter, being an influencer or whatever that means. But she has it down. You know, she models Muslim gear. She's an influencer for that. She's going to be on Housewives. She's sitting courtside with rappers. What you thought? You thought Allah was going to stop her? No way, no how. She's for the streets, and even her religion can't stop her. So yeah, man, wild business. But Brittany always providing a great laughs. I no longer get. It's not like I really got upset about it, but you know, irritated, I would say, because of the dangerous rhetoric. But at this point, man, if anybody takes her legitimately, I that's on you. To me, she's crossed over into the Umar Johnson. They're just internet personalities and nothing else. Everything that they say to me now comes off as a joke, as humorous, as it's no different than an SNL skit. These people are living, walking SNL skits to me. So whenever she does something like this, I do nothing but get a great laugh out of it. You would hope that she actually took the religion seriously, is taking it seriously or whatever, but I reserve that on the back burner. But initially, whenever she does these things, I'm not going to say, well, what about your religion, Brittany? I thought you... Hey, man, it is what it is. If you don't take it seriously, I damn sure won't.
Right.
So, but keep providing a great laughs, Brittany. Kevin Gates, hey, bro, live your life, bro. Live your life, bro. This guy, he's a wild human himself. He always gives me the laughs as well. So I feel like they belong with each other in more ways than one.
Yeah, two peas in a pod. Yeah. And when I say, just to kind of take it back to the comment that I made, she can accept being one of several women because this is what Muslim men do, and she's a Muslim woman. I'm only saying that reacting to comments that she made. Okay. She's the one who said, I wouldn't consider dating a Muslim man because I don't want to be one of several. So she said that. I'm just responding to that. I don't really think she cares about that. And I think women with her kind of mentality also don't care about that. And we've seen countless examples of this. These women don't really care about, I don't want to say they don't really care about like loyalty and monogamy and all of that stuff. They do, but what they do is they compare costs and benefits, right? They do a comparison analysis. And they say, is what I'm receiving in return via being with this guy worth the price to pay of me sacrificing monogamy and commitment? If they determine that it's worth the price to pay, suddenly all of that monogamy stuff goes out the window and they don't care. But if they determine that it's not worth it because maybe that guy can't give them what they would need in return to sacrifice all that, then they'll of course plant their flag in the sand and say, no, this is a deal breaker for me. I need you to be loyal and be committed to me exclusively. It's a game. It's a game that they play in a lot of cases, and it's a fluid situation. They're never really 10 toes down on that. It's always an oscillation of benefits and drawbacks. The perceived benefit determines how much they really care about monogamy.
Yes.
For women like her. Now, there are some who are 10 toes down. And they'll say, I don't care how much money you got or what kind of lifestyle that you can give me. I can't personally deal with being with a man who keeps multiple women. And they'll stick to it. But chicks like her, they don't really care. They oscillate back and forth, and they're weighing the benefit juxtaposed to what they may have to sacrifice. If the benefit is enough, the sacrifice is worth it. If the benefit is not enough, all of a sudden they're going to care about it. So that's where I raise my eye. That's where I roll my eyes, and it becomes a complete joke to me. And that's when they start peddling their speech publicly, and it does become dangerous rhetoric where I'll unmute and say, hey, listen, people like this should not be listened to. So she's an agent of that kind of dangerous stuff getting thrown around. Mm-hmm. And so I feel you on that, but I never believed that she was about it to begin with. I never did. I think she was groomed to be a woman who has to share her man. And I think she'll continue to live in that energy into perpetuity.
Yeah, man. So keep clapping it up, Brittany. Keep clapping it up. Shout out to Kevin Gates, man. You're a wild boy, bro. And but hey, what you guys think down in the comment section, guys? Do you guys feel as though that Brittany was actually being a hypocrite, or do you guys feel as though she grew in her faith a little? All right. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or do you feel like she's been doing this whole Muslim act as a grift? Let us know down in the comment section, guys. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we would. You think Dogon being a simp?
Yeah, man. You think I'm simping over here? You think I'm white knighting? Oh man,
white knighting.